The dark secrets hidden in the Epstein files that shocked the world. The doors were locked. The corridors silent. Yet inside a sealed chamber of law, thousands of pages waited. Names. Journeys. Whispers of power. When the hidden records of Jeffrey Epstein began to surface, the world discovered something chilling. Because the scandal was never about one man. It was about the shadow surrounding him. Summer heat clung to the towers of New York City. Carriages of light motorcars moved like restless insects through the streets. But behind the stone walls of a federal courthouse, something quiet was unfolding. Boxes were carried into a chamber. Heavy boxes, filled with documents long sealed from the public eye. They were called the Epstein files. Within them lay years of testimony, flight logs, depositions, letters, and whispers of powerful men who had once walked freely beside Epstein. Men who believed their secrets would never surface. Before the scandal, before the accusations, before the prison cell, there was simply a man with unusual wealth. Jeffrey Epstein. No grand empire. No famous invention. Yet fortunes flowed around him like rivers. He owned mansions, private aircraft, an island hidden within turquoise waters. The powerful visited him. Princes, financiers, politicians, scholars. They dined beneath chandeliers. They spoke in private halls. And beyond those doors, secrets gathered like storm clouds. His townhouses were vast. Rooms connected by long corridors. Walls covered in portraits. Heavy doors. Locked doors. Guests passed through candlelit halls while attendants moved silently in the shadows. Servants spoke little. Visitors asked few questions. Because in the world of influence, silence is a valuable currency. But beyond those elegant halls, rumors began to travel. Quietly at first, then louder. Stories whispered by young voices. Stories few wished to hear. In the early years of the new century, authorities in Palm Beach received troubling accounts. Statements from young women. Descriptions of encounters. Promises of money. Promises broken. An investigation began. Slowly. Carefully. Detectives gathered testimony. Files thickened. The accusations grew darker. Yet something strange happened. The case slowed. Then bent. Then changed direction. A courtroom deal was struck. Quietly. Behind closed doors. In 2008, Jeffrey Epstein faced justice in a case that shocked many observers. Yet the punishment seemed small. A brief confinement. Privileges rarely granted. Work release during daylight hours. The powerful man stepped in and out of a jail door that barely closed. And the world asked a haunting question. Who had protected him? Behind Epstein stood another figure. Elegant. Well-connected. A woman born into privilege. Ghislaine Maxwell. She moved easily among society's elite. Attending galas. Hosting gatherings. Introducing guests. For years she remained merely a name whispered in the background. But investigators would later say, her role was far greater than anyone first believed. Her presence lingered in testimonies. Her name appeared again and again, like a shadow beside the central figure. For nearly a decade, the scandal seemed buried. Life continued. Epstein traveled. His aircraft flew across oceans. Powerful acquaintances continued their lives. But the victims did not forget. They carried memories like chains. Waiting. watching, hoping someone would listen again. Then, in the summer of 2019, the storm returned. Federal agents moved swiftly. Vehicles arrived outside an airport hangar. Documents were prepared. Charges were read. Jeffrey Epstein was taken into custody. This time the accusations were severe. Investigators spoke of trafficking, recruitment, years of hidden crimes. The world's attention snapped toward the case like iron toward a magnet. Because if the accusations were true, Epstein had not acted alone. He was transported to a gray fortress in Manhattan, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, a building of steel doors and echoing corridors. Inside, cells sat stacked like stone coffins. The lights never fully dimmed. The silence was broken only by footsteps and distant voices. There, behind iron bars, the man whose parties once hosted the wealthy now slept on a narrow cot, waiting for trial, for testimony, for the moment when secrets might finally spill into open court. But that moment never came. One August morning, guards approached the cell. Something was wrong. The prisoner lay motionless. The official word would later say, death by suicide. Yet questions spread like wildfire. Why were the cameras not watching? Why were the guards absent? Why had the man at the center of the world's most explosive scandal died before speaking under oath? And with his death, many feared the truth had died with him. Yet the story was not finished. Because the records remained. Depositions, legal motions, civil cases, witness statements. Over time, courts began to unseal documents connected to the investigation. Page after page emerged, each one examined by journalists, lawyers, historians, citizens across the world. Within those pages were fragments of a hidden world. Travel records, social connections, accounts of meetings in lavish houses and distant islands. Some names were familiar, others unexpected. But the meaning of many passages remained uncertain. And speculation grew like wildfire. One place returned again and again in the records. A private island in the Caribbean. Palm trees swaying above white sand. A mansion overlooking the sea. Visitors arriving by aircraft. It appeared in testimonies, in flight logs, in quiet conversations. A place where powerful guests gathered far from the eyes of the world. Yet what truly occurred there remains a matter fiercely debated. Because records reveal fragments. But fragments are not the whole story. As the files expanded, another question emerged. If Epstein had died, who else would face justice? Attention turned toward the woman long seen beside him. In 2020, authorities arrested Ghislaine Maxwell. The world watched as her trial unfolded. Witnesses spoke. Evidence was examined. And in 2021, a jury delivered its verdict. Maxwell was convicted on charges related to trafficking. Yet even then, many questions remained unanswered. Because the documents hinted at a wider circle. A network of relationships that stretched through finance, politics, and society. But the full truth remains tangled in silence. Today the Epstein files still echo through the halls of law and journalism. Each new release sparks debate. Each page reveals another thread. Yet certainty is rare. Some believe the documents expose a vast web of corruption. Others warn that rumor and truth must be carefully separated. What is undeniable is that the scandal shook public faith in power itself. Because it suggested that wealth and influence might shield wrongdoing. At least for a time. In the quiet corridors of the Metropolitan Correctional Center, The cell where Jeffrey Epstein once lived now stands empty. The iron door closes. The light fades. But the questions remain. Questions written in thousands of pages. Questions whispered across the world. Questions that may never be fully answered. Because sometimes the darkest secrets are not the crimes we uncover, but the truths that disappear before anyone can speak them aloud.